Hey there, welcome back to this playlist on Tosca 2024. We have been talking about all the different new features which has been introduced in the latest version of Tosca. So let's move on to our next feature, which is introduced in this latest version, and that is called the HTML log monitoring. Now, it's one of the Tbox modules, which is part of the HTML modules, and there is a start HTML log monitoring and there's a stop HTML log monitoring module which is present, which can be used for advanced debugging. Now we know that some basic debugging can be done from the logs which are returned by Tosca when we execute any particular test case. Also, we can use the log analyzing tool which is present in Tosca to do some advanced debugging. But now Tosca has enabled this particular feature right inside your test case. Okay, so you can start your log monitoring right from a particular test case, and then you can capture all these logs into a particular file that could help with debugging any particular issues which you are facing with any particular test case. So let's see how we can do this. So let me go into our workspace. So we have been working with the 2024 features folder, and here I'm going to create a new test case now. And we are going to call this HTML log monitoring. Now inside this, we are going to add some test steps. As I said, there are two particular modules. One is start HTML log monitoring and another is stop, right? So if you search for HTML log monitoring, you will find both the modules here. So we are going to use both the modules. And this is the start HTML log monitoring. And then let's add the stop one as well. Okay, so let's understand what are the different module attributes here for the start and stop log monitoring. So both have got some common search criteria, and then the stop one has got a log type. You also have got the log type in start, and then there is a log file path which is different in stop HTML log monitoring. So let's look at the search criteria, which is common across both the modules. So there is a title, there is a URL, and there is a window index. So it is pretty straightforward here. In the title, we need to provide the title of the browser window, which we are trying to monitor. And then we'll also need to provide the URL of the browser window. Okay. And then window index will help us in scenarios where there are multiple windows with the same title. So we can provide some number in the index, 1 or 2 or any number, right? So the same search criteria can be applied in stop HTML log monitoring. And then we have got two types of logs. Okay, so we can either capture console logs. So these are the console logs which you see in your browser dev tools. Okay, and then there is also network logs. This network logs refer to the logged messages in the network tab of your browser dev tools. Okay. So if you want to take a look, then this is the website which we are going to work with, and you can go to your network logs or your console logs right from here. So go to more tools, developer tools, okay, and here you will find two tabs. One is console and then one is network, right? So network is basically any network logs which are getting captured when you are navigating in your website. It could be some API logs or it could be anything network related, right? And then console is basically whatever console logs are captured when you navigate in your website. It could be some JavaScript related or it could be any other code related from your particular website. Okay, so Tosca will capture all these logs once you are navigating in your particular website or you're running some automation in your particular web application. That will help you to basically debug the actual issue. You can also pass it on to your developers in case they want to look at the logs where your script is failing and why it is failing. So Let's come back here. We have talked about some of the module attributes. The final one is the log file path. Now, this log file path, you can save it in your machine. So this particular log file path is the path of the file where you want to save your logs. Okay, so it could be console logs or it could be the network logs. Right, so these are all the module attributes which we need to use. Now, the important thing to remember here is this module is only currently supported in Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge browsers. Okay, so it will not work with other browsers. And then both the modules, start and stop, should be present in the same test case. If you put just the start module and you do not put the stop module, then it will not work. Okay, so both have to be present. Right. So now let's go ahead and develop this particular test case, and let's see how we can capture these particular logs. Okay. So here we have got these two modules, but then I also want to log in into this particular website, and then I want to capture some network and some console logs. Okay, so that's my particular scenario. So this is the website which I'm trying to capture here. Okay. So we will take the URL from this particular website and we are going to put it here. And then title, we'll use some regular expression so that we capture any particular title and it doesn't fail with any other title. Okay, so we'll do that. And here we'll put the title again. Window index, we will choose it as 1. Okay, so we want to capture it from the first window. And then first we will try out with the console log, and then we will see the network logs as well. Okay. For console logs, we can actually work with this particular URL. Okay. So let me copy this here as well. And then we will also want to have a log file path. Okay. So I'm going to go into my particular directory here. Okay, so I'm going to take this particular file path and I'm going to use it here. So this is going to capture the console logs when this particular website is being navigated. Now we can add a lot more into this particular test case. So we can go into the login website, we can log in into the website, or we can perform our automation. But that should all happen in between these two modules. Okay. So before we run this, we also need to make sure that we have a test configuration parameter. Without it will not work. So let's add a test configuration parameter for browser, and we need to select a valid browser. It will be Chrome. And then let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so it was completed. Now let's go and let's look at this logs. So you will see these are all the console logs which we were also looking at our Chrome Dev Tools, right? And this is also captured here in this particular file, right? So you don't need to go manually and look for these logs. Now you can capture them right in this particular file. Now let's rename this to console logs. Now we have seen how to capture the console logs, right? Now let's see how we can capture the network logs. So that's a little different, I would say. Okay, so if you don't navigate in your website, you will not be able to capture any network logs, right? So you need to click on some links, so you need to perform some action. So some API will be hit, and then you will be able to capture some network logs. So what I have done, I have created some module for the login on this particular website. Okay, and what we will do, we'll add it as a test step, but it will be in between the start and stop. Okay, so we'll start the monitoring, and then we need to also change this to network and this as well to network. And then we need to perform some actions here. Okay, so I will click on the login button and then I'm going to enter some username. Okay, and here I will enter some password. Although it's not the correct password, it's going to fail, but that's fine. I want to capture the actual network logs, right? And then the search criteria. So once we click on login here, the URL is changing. So I'm going to use that particular URL. Okay. And then here I'm going to actually change this to network logs, right? So now let's go ahead and run this. Let me go back to the home page here, and let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so it tried to click on the login, and then it tried to enter the username and password, although I'm not pretty much worried about the whole scenario, but I want to see what network logs are captured, right? So once it is completed, we can see the network logs file has been created here. So I'm going to open this, and you will see here, this is the network logs. It's pretty much a request and response. You can see for every particular action, an API will be triggered, and you will get some response back from that particular API, right? So this might be useful if you are also trying to figure out what kind of API request and response are being triggered by your automation script, right? And if something is failing, you can look here and try to figure out what's the actual issue. It's basically some advanced debugging. In most cases, you will not fall back upon this. The execution results should be enough for you, but in some cases, when you need to debug further, then these logs might be useful in raising a particular issue with your developer, or if you want to debug on your own, you can also take these logs and put it right in your results, right? So this is one feature which has been introduced in the Tosca latest version. This is to capture HTML logs, both network and console, and put it right in your test case. That's all for this particular video. If you have any questions, then please leave it in the comments. If you like this video, then please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.